Hey, this is Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm in the middle of a point series battle at RC Excitement in Fitchburg, Massachusetts on the dirt oval. Now, we race all kinds of classes. What you're looking at right now is my street stock, which is a B6.2D Team Associated two-wheel buggy chassis. And I've been kind of playing around with this thing since we started indoors, which is new for us this year at RC Excitement. And it's a really hard-packed clay. It's glued down, tons of traction as opposed to when we were outside with no traction. So there's been a lot of changes. We've all had to do some adjustments and make all kinds of crazy changes. And I think most of us have helped each other get to the point where we're all pretty equal at this point. So it's a really tight series. I didn't get a chance to film weeks 1 and 2, but as you can see, we're pretty close. Me and Rob Byron, Silent Bob, we're 2 points apart. I got 2 TQs, but I also got knocked out last week, so I think I finished 5th or something like that. So by the end of this race, we get 1 drop because we have 5 races and only 4 counts. So I'll lose the TQ, but I'll also get rid of my 5th place. So let's get into some racing, and I want to show you how we race up at RC Excitement and some of the battles that we have because we are so close. This is the first qualifying heat, and there's 4 of us. There's me, there's my friend Daryl in the green Nova behind me, and Miss Brooklyn, who's a young up-and-comer in the black Bandit chassis. Me and Daryl are both running Associated, and we do it like everybody else does. You get where I happened to do, it was a light night, so we ran 4-minute quals. Right there, you can see I got a little greedy. That was totally on me. I came in and then I slid, which was something that I don't usually do, so I wasn't expecting it. But the right thing to do is I kind of backed off and let Daryl go around me in the Nova. You can see the groove and how dark it is. If you stay in that groove when you're racing, you can do really well up here at least. And I'm assuming it's that way everywhere. The problem is being consistent. Now, I'm pretty fortunate, as is Daryl in this one, that we're not racing with a ton of cars, so we have a lot of open track. And when you have the open track, it allows you to stay fairly consistent. You can hit your marks, and you can just plug off a lap after lap after lap. And in order, because we are so close in speeds, all it takes is one slip up, and or whoever slips up the most, really is what it comes down to, is the one who's going to lose. Because we all try to stay out of each other's way in the quals, and that way we can get the best times that we possibly can. So again, I was fortunate in this one to be able to have such an open track, and it's not always like that. We usually race 4 to 5 cars per heat. I believe we had 9 entries, and because of that we had 1 with 4 and 1 with 5 cars each. So either way, it makes it fairly decent to race. And the hard part about racing when it comes to at least dirt oval, or clay oval in this case, is being able to just hit your marks lap after lap. If you know what your car is going to do, and you've driven it enough to, hopefully you get there early enough and you get some practice time and you run enough laps to see if there's any fall off. I also race the Slash Superstock series, and that's a pain in the neck because halfway through the race, my car is acting completely different than it was when I started. And it has nothing to do with traction compound or anything like that. It's mainly just fall off on the car, and it's hard to predict. But for the most part, you have what you have, and it allows you to be as consistent as you can. And the guys that are fast because they're consistent. And I'm not sure if that makes any sense or not, but and I'm by far not a guru when it comes to racing. I've been doing this for a year, maybe a year and a half now, and I started in dirt oval. I do off-road, but dirt oval is where my main focus is and my main passion. And outside it's different because it's loose, so you kind of learn how to slide your car around the corners, as opposed to here where our biggest issue when we first is that right there is traction rolling. So I mean, I pretty much hit my mark the same way. I pushed a little harder to try to get some extra laps because I wanted the top qualifier, which I did not get, spoiler alert. But for the most part, if you can hit your marks, you can do well. But when you have cars to go around, you're trying to avoid things. So you can see here I had 44 laps. Daryl ended up with 42, but he also got tangled up a little. In the second street stock, Bob got 45. So he definitely got the TQ up to that point. So this is the start of the second qual. So all the fast guys were lumped together. And it makes it easier when you're racing to be racing in a good group. If you have a problem in your first qualifier, you end up getting stuck down, especially if you've got a good car. You end up getting down in the lower quals, which means you're racing with people that are probably slower than you. If you have a good car and you get tangled up or anything like that. So now you have to fight back twice as hard to get these nice, clean, as clean as you can laps. So here, the white and blue Camaro that just went by, he was going around, he's coming down the back straightaway now, right here in the turn. He's the fastest one. And Bob's done really, really well. He started off, he was a little slower than everybody when we first came inside, and I was fortunate enough to just hit the setup right, I guess. I didn't make a lot of changes from outside. I did shock oils, and so I stiffened my car up. And outside we were running a soft S3 compound. Inside we're running the MC compound. So right now I'm running Proline Bald Eagle MCs slicks. And obviously they're the rears are slicks, the fronts are the two-wheel buggy slicks. And with the track being glued the way it is, it's really, really nice to be able to just hug these corners, but we were all traction rolling. So in order to solve that problem, we started playing around with springs. I'm running a gear diff in my car, and I like it for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I'm lazy and I hate screwing around with the ball diff, and I've just had horrible luck with them. And the gear diff just affords me a little bit more, I think a little bit more power, especially on a tight surface like this. So you can see we're all doing pretty much the same. At this point, me and Bob in the white Camaro, we're neck and neck. And I know this isn't a race, it's a qualifier, but right now you're racing for time in TQ. And the TQ, the way we do it, and I'm assuming it's this way everywhere, is we have an extra point. So the most points you could get is 101 at a race, 100 for first place, and if you've got a TQ, you get that extra point. And because we're so close, I was fighting to get it for the third week in a row, and I missed it by a little bit, and you'll see how much I missed it by. But again, all it takes is one wrong move from somebody, and you can go from first to last, or TQ to not TQ in this case. But the fun part is when all the cars like this are handling well, it's good because you can go around, you're making laps, you know what the person's going to do. And in a qualifier, nobody's pushing you. Nobody's going to be riding your back end. Nobody's going to be trying to, or nobody should be trying to run you over, because the easiest thing to do is to just get out of the way when you possibly can, because it's going to slow you down and it's going to slow the person that's trying to get by you down. So the best thing to do is just when you can, go out, get out of the way. Most of the time you're on a driver's stand, so you can talk to somebody. You all know who you are. You can just say, hey, coming through, or hey, I'm taking this corner wide, that type of thing. You don't have to move over the second they get behind you, but you should have some driver etiquette like that. I kind of went wide, and Bob kind of dove in, and he got a little loose and hit me, and it worked out that we were able to keep going. But this right here is towards the end. We were trying to get that 45, 46 lap TQ, and we're so close that we were really fighting kind of hard at this point just to get to TQ. You can see right now where he tried to dive in a little tighter there, and hit the pipe. So the fun part of this is you get to enjoy being around and racing people. But look at the times. I mean, 0.761 to 0.825. I missed it by that much. It was so close. So what we do is we line up in the mains. This week we had a 50 lap main. Usually it's 45 or 40. It all depends on how many heats we have of everything. We try to get out at a reasonable time. We start at 6. We're usually out no later than 11, but it was cold, so we were trying to all go home. But this was a 50 lap race. Bob's in first, I'm in second, Daryl's in third in the Green Nova. Keegan, who's a young up-and-comer, very, very talented. He's got probably the fastest car in the field. And then Glenn, he's been working on his car, which is the gold and blue Monte Carlo at the back end. He had bumped up, and this is the start of the race. And we try to all, not overdo it, but, you don't want to take somebody out on the first lap. I got a little greedy there trying to get around Bob. So, and again, I'm in the, I don't know if I've even said it, I'm in the maroon Dodge Charger. So I've got more front speed off the straightaway coming out of a corner, and Bob's got more corner speed. So right there, Keegan kind of got greedy and took me out. So now I'm half a lap behind, and I'm collecting myself. I took my corners a little bit cautiously here, but Bob's coming up to lap me. So my goal is to try to get as far away from him as possible. And that's not always easy to do, especially when you're trying to fight through traffic. So right now I'm in fourth place, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm either in third or fourth. Not sure if Glenn in the gold and blue is a lap down, but if not, he is there. And so I'm trying to catch Daryl now at this point in the Green Nova. Bob's still on my tail. He's not giving me any kind of slack. Keegan's coming up. He's fast. I'm over driving, which is another thing I have a horrible habit of doing, is getting myself to calm down when I'm racing. I know it's a long race. I know it's not won in the first 10 laps, but to be consistent is the most, probably one of the best things I could do, aside from making sure I hit my marks. But you can see I'm trying to get around Daryl. I probably could have forced the issue there, but he let me by here and gave me a little bit more room on the inside. So now, if you look, you see the white car pulled off to the side. He's the one who took me out earlier. It was a racing incident. It's no big deal. But he did the right thing, and he kind of let me by here, and I repaid him by screwing up and crashing again. So now I'm back. Now Bob is the leader. He's right behind me, so I had a chance. I made it all the way up to second, and within a lap, I was all the way back to almost getting lapped again. So this is where it's easy to get irritated. And the second one was just me. I was over driving it. I drove it into the corner, thought I could get by, and they just couldn't do it. So here I passed Daryl again, and now I got to still catch Keegan. Actually, I'm not even sure if he's second, or he might not be second. I don't even know at this point. All I know is Bob is the one I'm trying to catch. He's in first place. He's right behind me, but he got hung up by Glenn there. That was again more of a racing thing. Glenn's trying to get out of the way, and you can see Daryl's right there. He's coming up. He's been gaining every week. It's more of a tire issue with him. We have the same tires, and for some reason his tires weren't as good as mine. So I gave him a spare set that I had broken in. His were broken in as well, but for some reason he put my tires on his car, and it was night and day. So he couldn't take a corner without spinning out, and it was just all tires. So I've got some more tires that I'm trying next week, which is the Raw Speed Slicks. They're supposed to be really, really good, because at this point I'm looking for tenths. So hoping to get some small changes. I might go up on my shock oils a little bit. I'm running 30 in all in 3 corners, and then in the right rear I'm running 35. So I'm just running a little bit heavier. So this was the end of the race here, and in the end Bob did take it down. It was close, no matter what I tried to do here. You can see I'm almost there, but that's about how far away I'm going to end up being at the finish line, is about a second behind him or so. I'm not 100% sure I'll look. But, you know, as it gets towards the end, everybody's getting crazy trying to make moves to get that position, because points are so important. You can see me there. I'm just pushing as hard as I can. I think this is the last lap, or the second to the last lap. And it's just not enough. I ran out of time. And my own fault for overdriving. And Bob ran almost a perfect race and had less problems than I did. And that's what it all comes down to in the end when you're so close. But it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm looking for, you can see right there, I passed him. But at that point, the race had already ended. So I was like one lap short of being able to do it. So as you can see, this is where our points are now. I'm a little further behind than I want to be. I'm hoping when I dump that 5th place that it'll all work out in the end. But I also lose the TQ, so it's a hit or miss there how it's going to work out. But right now, that 5th place from last week is my worst finish, so that will get dropped regardless of what I want. So I will lose the TQ, but in the end, I don't mind losing to Bob. Bob's a great guy, and I just have fun racing, and that's what it's all about. Is, you know, when you can walk off the driver's stand with everybody, and me, Bob, and Daryl, and Glenn, and Keegan, and we can all, you know, just laugh and know we had a good time, and we had clean racing, and everybody was congratulatory towards everybody. That's what this whole hobby is all about, and that's why I enjoy it. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and if this is the type of stuff you like to see, make sure you subscribe, and you'll get notified anytime I release new content. This will be in a playlist for RC on my channel, because I do everything from, I'm going to be doing slot cars to die-cast cars to RC. I'll be doing some builds and things like that. So if this is something you like, I appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next one.